If you hadn't noticed, I talk quite a bit about improving as a developer. Specifically, I like to discuss various ways to study from a practical perspective. However, in this guide, I want to specifically answer the question of, is reading important for developers? The short answer to the question is an emphatic yes. However, as computer scientists, it's poor form to simply take someone at their word. So let's dive into why reading is critical for improvement. To start off, let's analyze a few key statistics in regards to reading. How many books do you read in a year? If your answer is that you're too busy to read entire books, let me ask you another question. Are you busier than the CEOs of the world's most successful companies? Probably not. However, research from the Ripe Academy shows that CEOs such as Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, and Peter Thiel read around 60 books a year. That's 4 to 5 books every single month. So why do some of the most successful individuals in the world take the time to go through so many books? At a high level, it may seem excessive. However, if you truly believe that knowledge is power, wouldn't it make sense to dedicate whatever time is necessary in order to attain more knowledge? If you look at reading like a form of linear learning, then yes, reading would be completely a waste of time. Linear learning would be a one-to-one transfer of knowledge. For example, if it took the author of the book 10 years to research a topic and it took me 10 years to go through the book, that would be pretty pointless. At the end of the day, this type of reading and research wouldn't make any sense. However, I look at reading like it's compounded learning. What is compounded learning? Compounded learning is the process of taking the knowledge from an individual, but not having to spend the same amount of time that it took them to research the topic. For example, imagine that you read a book on how to become a better developer. The author of that book had to spend years researching the topic, assuming that it was a well-written and well-researched book. However, if you go through the book in a few weeks, that means that you are able to gain years worth of knowledge in just a couple of weeks. Research shows that the top authors will spend a minimum of 2 years researching a book. And that research time doesn't take into account the fact that the author draws on their entire lifespan to write the book. All of this means that each time that you read a book, it's as if you were able to gain a lifetime's worth of experiences and wisdom from the author. A few years back, I was offered a CTO position for a startup in New York City. The job had a good salary, great stock options, and it really was an excellent product. However, during a dinner with the founder and CEO, I asked about a book that I had finished reading, and I was trying to discuss some of the topics that I had found in it. The CEO responded that he had never heard of the book. And that's not a problem. There are millions of books, and I don't judge someone for having a different literary taste than myself. However, the CEO followed up this statement by saying that he didn't have time for reading. He was too busy building the business. The CEO's view of reading resonated with me throughout the entire job consideration process, and I ended up turning down the job. If the CEO didn't dedicate the time to read and learn from others, this means that he would be relying solely on his own knowledge and life experiences. And even the most brilliant business person will fail if they think that they already have all the right answers. It's one thing to say reading is important. It's another thing entirely to actually go through a large number of books on a consistent basis. With that in mind, I've developed my own reading system. This system also takes into account a number of complaints that I've heard from others about reading through the years. First and foremost, I schedule a set amount of time each day for reading. Usually, this equals around 1 to 2 hours. However, on the weekends, this number usually can double based on having a little bit more time during Saturdays. At any one time, I'm usually going through about a dozen books, ranging from mind skill hacking through technical programming books. And one common question I get asked when people hear how many books I go through is if it's okay to go through audiobooks. I'm not sure where the stigma of audiobooks came from. However, with my travel schedule, I've discovered that audiobooks are an invaluable tool in my learning arsenal. Obviously, you can't go through programming books via sites like Audible. However, you can go through skill and business-based books. And I personally have hundreds of books in my Audible account, many of which I've gone through multiple times. In fact, many of the books I've discussed and quoted during these lectures come from books that I listen to. One of the top complaints I hear from students is that books are too expensive. My response is always, if you're not willing to sacrifice to improve, then you're not going to attain your goals. And that includes sacrificing financially. With that being said, there are ways that you can go through a large number of books, even if you're on a budget. To start off, your local library has countless books that you can learn from each day. And assuming that you bring the books back on time, a library is completely free. I have a library within walking distance of the Dev Camp office here in Scottsdale, and I will visit a few times a week to discover new books. Additionally, you can sign up for book memberships like Safari Books Online, which offers an all-you-can-read package. I have this membership and I've had it for a few years, and I've gone through a large number of technical programming books through their entire library material. In summary, is reading important for developers? I believe that it is. Reading enables you to activate compound learning. And if you have a chance to gain years worth of knowledge and experiences in just a few weeks, it seems insane to pass up on an opportunity like that.